Hey guys, welcome back at home with Chef Ricardo on WMBRadio.com on this little bit of a dreary Memorial Day weekend. For today's segment, we're doing, because I love pulled pork sandwiches, you know, with a nice barbecue sauce and coleslaw, but I've come up with one. It's kind of a recipe my mom had that I kind of changed over time to do my own kind of version of it. So we're going to get started right here. First I need a roasting pan. Right here, this is what I use for catering. Now we're going to go a little bit different today. Instead of doing our traditional pork, I grabbed some skinless turkey legs. Now, you can buy them, I suggest buying them with the skin off them. If they're there, you can ask the butcher to do it for you. I did this myself. It does take kind of a bit, but if you're going to do them yourself, I would invest in some good cooking shears, which makes it a lot easier to be able to take the skin and get as much of the silver skin as you can. The silver skin is that other white part right here. The most you can get off, the better, because that doesn't break down like fat does. So we got that here. Now in the food processor earlier, I grinded up some carrots, some celery, some onions, and a little bit of zucchini. I'll explain the zucchini afterwards. This is basically what we call our mirepoix and our aromatics for our roasting. This is going to go on the bottom. Spread it out. You can actually buy these already chopped if you wanted to, but I mean, food processor is an excellent tool for every cook to have in their kitchen. It makes life a lot easier. Spread that out evenly. Just like that. Now, I'm going to grab some dried herbs. I'm going to go with some Italian seasoning. Add to this, which I love using, just, using the dry kind, so you don't need as much. So I'll get that in there, add some flavor to this. There we go. So now with the legs, we're going to place those in here. We're going to season them, salt and pepper. Both sides. A little bit of salt. Dash of pepper on both sides. And some, keep your eye out, this is one of my barbecue spice blends that I've come up with. So keep your eye out. I'll have this post on Facebook very soon. Give those a nice little dusting of barbecue. Do that. And because I took, a lot of people say, oh yeah, the skin is the fat is where the flavor is. Which, yeah, where it may be, but what I did was, by taking that fat out, I can replace it with a healthier fat that's easy to digest. I'm going to use extra virgin olive oil in my handy-dandy company. Because we are going to roast this. Spray everything, even the vegetables. There we go. Nice healthier fat. So we took one fat out and we added another one. Get that out of there. 250-degree oven, probably about 25-35 minutes. Still done. Pop this in here. Now while that's roasted, we get started on the sauce. Now, this is something like I was saying about how my mom used to do this. She would take leftover turkey from like Thanksgiving or whatnot, break it all apart, and then re-saute it with just regular house, barbecue sauce, like dark kind. But I like to come up with my own. So we got our skillet going here. We got our induction burner going on a medium low. And I got a bunch of stuff here that we're gonna build a nice sauce with here. A bunch of little tidbits. Here we go. First we're gonna start off. I actually, like I said, I don't like to use fat-free products, but I actually found a beef stock that's fat-free. It actually worked well. So we're gonna go with that. So we're gonna do about 2 cups of that. That's about right. Now, while that's going, grab my whiskey here. Because this original recipe had, when I did it, this has been from a recipe I grabbed a long time ago, and it had 2 cups of brown sugar in it, and that was like one of the thickeners. But because I eliminated that out, I want to get it a little bit thick, so I got some cornstarch here. Now, traditionally, you don't use this way. If I was back at Johnson Wells, it would probably kill me for doing it this way. We usually put it in a colder liquid, then add it to it. But actually, it worked this way. So we're going to make the slurry right inside the pan. So add the cornstarch in there, just like that. Just get around, break up. We don't want big chunks of the cornstarch, and that's got to cook down. So that takes a bit. So that's why I added it in there now. So now we're gonna add about, you want to eyeball these, but about a tablespoon of onion powder, about a half of garlic powder, not garlic salt, garlic powder. But if you did have garlic salt, just your salt that way. That looks pretty good. Now something I tried differently. I used to use soy sauce, but I found this that the liquid smoke works really well. So we're only going to do a couple of dashes. You don't need a couple, okay, maybe 3 or 4 drops. And I get the hickory kind. The regular kind of work just as fine as well, but I kind of like that hickory flavor since it is a barbecue. And I use that a lot in marinades and things like that around this time of the year. So I'm going to get that. I just want to incorporate this. You want to always kind of keep this stirring. Raise the heat just a little bit on that. Because we want to get that all cooked in there. Now, add a little bit of sweetness to our sauce. Instead of doing the brown sugar, I went with doing a couple of tablespoons of honey. These squeeze bottles come right handy. And as you can see, I've used this one for a while because I keep it tipped over. So make sure it comes all the way down. And a little bit of sourness. I'm going to go with rice wine vinegar. Only about maybe a tablespoon and a half, maybe 2 teaspoons around there. I'm going to eyeball it. So you want a little bit of sour to contrast the sweet. There we go. And of course, with me, you got to have a little bit of heat. Originally, I used to use jalapenos in this, but the sriracha chili works just fine. I mean, I like adjust it the way you want. I like a lot of heat to it. Typically barbecue sauces don't have it, but mine does. So we want to break that up a bit. See it's starting to heat up now. Make sure this all cooks in. Now it's time for the not so secret ingredient. Well, first I want to season this too. I want to give it a little bit of salt. Needs its salt and pepper, of course. Now the secret ingredient will come in. And it's sweet Marcella wine. Now, how I ended up using this wine? Well, I used to use whiskey, but I happened to not have any one day, and I tried this, and I actually liked using this better. So this is going to be about a cup of that. So that. This really adds a great flavor to the sauce. Now, stirring periodically, you want to get this to a boil and simmer it for about 10 to 15 minutes. Let's get this going here. It's boiling right now. I think it's just starting to come up to a boil. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it's just starting to get to it. When it gets to that, it's to that boil, we'll lower the heat and let this simmer. You just want, and then, like I said, stir periodically. These induction burners work really quick. That's what's good about them. And the heat adjusts really fast. So while that's going, I know I'm making a mess here. I'm going to show you the bowl. And I made some earlier. And basically, it's not tearing it apart. My mom will usually take 2 forks and rip everything apart, but if you got clean hands, it's not tearing it apart. Now this doesn't make much of a portion. It's only going to make for about 2 people, but you can adjust it. Just roast more of them. If you want to make more, I'm just trying to add in the meat, not any of the skin, skin that might have not gotten taken off. Yeah, it's so much easier if you buy it with the skin off. The guy was skinning them last night and it took forever. So, get all the meat out of there. The bulldog's making sure none falls to the floor. As always. silver skin. Pieces like that. And actually, I take a little bit of the Murphy as well, and I add it in there. And I figured, hey, why waste? There's some good flavor to it. About this much good stuff. Never give your dogs these bones. Just a little FYI for you. You might end up in a trip to the vet. We know from experience. Alright, here's the last piece here. I'll do a quick cleanup. Alright, awesome. Sauce is starting to come together, it's starting to thicken. Give it a nice stir. Dry off here. So now with the bigger pieces, I'm going to rip them apart some more. Depending on how big you want, pieces to be. I like them nice and shredded. There we go. That's how you get your hands in there dirty. Last big piece. Another piece. Rip that apart. Nothing's falling yet, don't worry about it, Tilly. Nothing for you here.